Well, Dewi, I think there was more hope than maybe expectation today, but that was a massive effort from you guys. What are the emotions after that from a Welsh perspective?
Look, I think we'll always put the expectation on ourselves as a group to go out there and get the job done, no matter who we play. So I think probably outside of our camp there was a lot of hope, but for us it was expectation. Look, I think you saw a lot of what we've been trying to put together over the last couple of weeks come to light today. But look, discipline is still a massive factor for us.
Yeah, on that, you know, putting into practice what you've been doing over the last few weeks, we certainly did see that in that opening 40. You were putting pressure on them, there was lots of variation to your game. I mean, what was the chat at the break?
Just to keep what we were doing. I think, you know, in parts we were being the aggressors, didn't have too many opportunities to attack in the first half, but when we did, we came away with points. So our message was clear. It was just to keep putting pressure on defensively, and when we got the ball, to come alive.
I loved reading your words this week where you said that you vowed to reignite the flame in Welsh rugby. What progress is being made, Dewi, as players? What do you see from within? I mean, you know, are you heading in the right direction now, in your opinion? Yeah,
look, I think so, definitely. I think this stadium, this crowd was electric today. The support they've shown us, and the atmosphere was incredible. And like we've spoken about as a group, it's our job to do that for the crowd, to get them on their feet, to give them an exciting game to watch. And I think for 60, 65 minutes we probably did that today. But look, you give a team as good as the All Blacks that many opportunities in your 22, and eventually the dam's going to break.
And South Africa up next doesn't get any easier, does it? And especially when you're losing, 12, 13 players, I think, from your squad now this week. How big a test are you expecting next weekend, and how much harder will it be without all those players?
Look, we're very confident in the group we've got. There's boys here that have put their hands up to play, and will fill the boots of boys going back, you know, quite easily. They've trained well and they've earned their spot in this squad. Look, for us, it's another chance to get better. It's another chance to do what we've said we're going to do against the best team in the world. So who wouldn't want that opportunity?
Always appreciate your time, Dewi. Diolch.
Diolch.
Well, see, it was always going to be tough this afternoon against this All Black side, but you did make them work for it at times during that 80. Penny, for your thoughts after that performance?
Oh, look, you can't get away from it. You never want to lose, but the pride you got for the group, the toughness they showed, and again, a couple of yellow cards, and probably 47 minutes, we probably feel a little bit of rough end of the stick when we were 24-21. But to score the points we did against the All Blacks, which I think is the equal most amount of tries we've scored. So, look, massive pride in the group, and probably in a weird way more satisfied than we were last week, because I felt we've seen parts of our game growing, and that's exciting. We love working with this group, and as much as we're disappointed around the scoreboard, but we believe there's a building block that these boys are creating.
Yeah, because you touched upon it already there. So at 50 minutes, it was a 3-point game. You were putting pressure on them. There was lots of variety in your game. You managed to score some tries. So for you, that period, well, that first half and the period just after it, what was the most pleasing aspect for you?
I think the most pleasing aspect is we adapted a little bit from last week, and I think some of the aerial battles we got a little bit more change out of, and then some of the skills on the edges. Tommy obviously getting a hat-trick, Zamo scoring, so the wingers shows what we're trying to do with the ball. And then, in fairness, I know you concede 50 points, you're always looking at the defence, but some of the bravery in that and how hard they made New Zealand work for it. And like we said, we probably feel there's a couple of things there that could have gone our way a little bit more in the game as well.
And this is probably a tough question to answer, because you and I obviously spoke pre-match, and I was just wondering what success for you today looked like. Was it the growth, the progress, individuals standing up? What was it, and did you see it?
I think all of what you've asked. I think for me, you wanted a performance, which I think we definitely got, and I have to say, and the crowd were amazing. I think the anthem is one of the best I've heard. I thought it was electric, and the support, even the back end, was unreal. But I think lots of the performance, scoring 4 tries against the All Blacks is massive for us. And then seeing 3 debutants against New Zealand, and you're probably looking at our team, there's probably just over 300 caps, and there's probably nearly, I think it's around 800 in there. So you know the experience where we're short of, but you only gain it by performing against the best teams in the world. And I think for big parts of the game, there's obviously things like kickoffs, you score, you bobble a ball, and then there's scrum, then there's pressure. There's all those little bit of tidy-ups, but can't commend the group enough in round over the last 3 or 4 weeks of what they've implemented, and in fairness, the disappointment of, I know we won against Japan, but the learnings they've adapted and growing, they're a pleasure to work with.
South Africa up next, they just keep on coming, don't they? Let's face it.
Yeah, I'd just throw away all the boys that are not here.
Well, that was going to be my question. It's a tough ask anyway, but how much tougher does that become without, 12, 13 members of the original squad?
Yeah, look, it's tough. We knew the fixtures before they come into it, and we're trying to make plans. But again, it's like you said, I think it's what we can take out of it as well. And the building blocks is going to be opportunities for lots of other boys, and we have to create depth in our squad. And also, it's an opportunity against the best team in the world. They're doing it with 14 men half the time, in fairness to them. But I think it's going after the game in round, the opportunity is taking these 3 games as a block, and that's where probably when we got a squad, we were a little bit unlucky with a couple of injuries as well, with like Jack, Wayno, Crackers and Toby before the tournament. So we've seen others, which is great. So this 3-game block, probably we'd like the scoreboard to be a little bit better on some of the games, but we'll take the win. And next week is, again, it's going to be opportunities. So the boys will have a smaller group to work with, who will have plenty of energy, and we've got to find a way of how we can be really competitive next week.
I'm going to call Aaron and Ollie Wayno and Crackers now when I see them next. I'm not really, I'm joking.
You're quite welcome to do that. I don't think they'll answer to anything else. Anyway, sorry, yeah, I need to. I'll change it. Yeah, no, I think that's what it is. Like the people, they've been amazing, and again, that's where I get to. It's as if I've got obviously 3 daughters like the sons I haven't got, so you treat them like that, yeah.
I love it, I love it. Always good to talk to you, Steve. All the very best this week now, heading into next weekend.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Well, it's congratulations. You finish off your season on a high with victory, of course. How much relief and satisfaction comes with that?
Malole sai fu malangi ma lo atunu pele sa mo tai mo no talo tai tapai toi foi la vona vinga ma fa taile tour. Yeah, look, we had a tough all week last week. Obviously didn't come here, we didn't get what we wanted in terms of the Grand Slam, but it was important for us to come out here and put on a performance that we can be proud of for our family back home, country that's supporting us, and also for ourselves. So look, we're happy with that. We'll take that win against this tough Welsh team who's shown up. Should give credit back to our support back home, and hopefully they enjoyed that one.
Yeah, Scott Robertson asked for a performance of pride that would show pride and effort that you guys have put into the jersey over the last few weeks. But at 50 minutes, there was only 3 points in it. I mean, what were you expecting from this Welsh side today? Because they did ask questions of you at times.
Yeah, for sure. They're a strong outfit. We know whenever teams come to play us, they're always going to be our best. They're always going to bring their best. So we had to front up there. Just like any test match is going to get close. Just happy we were able to bring it out in the end.
You've only lost 3 matches this season, we know that, but still people are questioning this All Black squad. How do you guys react to that from within? Do you let it fuel you, or does it frustrate you a little bit?
Look, bring it on. They want to criticise us. That's fair play to them. They're entitled to their opinion. We believe in what we're doing here, and we believe we're building well, and we're going to back ourselves every day. If you don't want to be there, then don't be there, but we're going to back ourselves, and we're going to put up a performance that we're proud of. We're going to work hard for each other, work hard for our family, and we're going to go out there and try our best no matter what.
Always good to see you in Cardiff. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you very much for the time.
Well, Scott, you bounced back from disappointment last week. What emotions come with that 80?
Yeah, immensely proud of the group to finish, our tour on a positive like that. I guess pleased is a word that describes it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I know it was a very different group of players that you guys put out today, but I'm just wondering what you guys asked of yourselves, what needed to be better this afternoon?
We wanted to play, 80 minutes of rugby that we could be proud of, and I think we did that for the most part tonight. Wales were valiant tonight on defence, and, it's an amazing place to play, and thanks to the Welsh and the AB supporters that turned out tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned Wales being valiant in defeat. They've been through some tough times, as you probably know, over the last couple of years, but they did ask questions for you at times. They put you under a little bit of pressure. What did you make of their performance this afternoon?
Yeah, they're sure. They scored a couple of tries. They managed to get down our end off the back of a few kicks. That high ball and I guess the scraps there that they capitalised, and they've got some talent, and it's a team that's building. So yeah, full credit to them.
Okay, so final game of your season. I know you've been part of this All Black squad for a long time now, and you've got people asking questions of you guys at the moment, but they have done in the past and you've proven them wrong. But 2 years out from a World Cup, where do you guys think you are at the minute?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to reflect over summer back home, and for now we'll just I guess celebrate the occasion tonight, playing an amazing stadium, and some guys took some great opportunities tonight, so we won't look too far forward or look too far back. We'll just enjoy tonight.
I appreciate your time, Scott. Well done.
Cheers, thanks. Thank you very much.
So Scott, as expected then, you leave Cardiff with a win. How much satisfaction comes with that for you after disappointment last weekend?
You framed that nicely, didn't you? Give us a wee up and then just a wee reminder. Look, I'm just really pleased. They're always gritty. It's a tough place to play, Principality. Most teams take sort of 15 or 16 minutes to get on top of the Welsh. They won't go away, and that's what took us.
10 points in it at the break. You'd imagine Wales would have been relatively happy with that. What was the chat from your end at half-time?
Look, we're creating opportunities, finish them, and keep trusting ourselves, keep passing the ball on the edge, and we did. Obviously got a few held ups and taken back, and it slowed the game up a little bit, but we keep trusting our process.
You made a fair few changes coming into this one, 12-13. What have you learned today from the wider squad? What was most pleasing for you?
We've got great competition, isn't it? We've got guys that can step up at any time, and we've got good depth in the squad. It took all of us today, took the whole squad. It's when you're on tour for a month, you're in 32 hotels over a year, it all adds up, and everyone's got to play their role, and they did tonight. You and I spoke pre-match about the questions that are being asked of this All Black side, and yet you've still only lost 3 games this year. I was talking to Wallace about it just now. I was just wondering where you guys see that you are 2 years out from a World Cup. Look, we know always I knew the first couple of years are always going to be a challenge. You're going to confront a lot of new development, grow. We had 800 caps that left, and we've introduced a lot of young men to test footy, 20-odd caps the last.
Okay. So Scott, as expected then, you leave Cardiff with a win. How much satisfaction comes with that for you after disappointment last weekend?
You framed that nicely, didn't you? Give us a wee up and then just a wee reminder. Look, I'm just really pleased. They're always gritty. It's a tough place to play, Principality. Most teams take sort of 15 or 16 minutes to get on top of the Welsh. They won't go away, and that's what took us.
10 points in it at the break. You'd imagine Wales would have been relatively happy with that. What was the chat from your end at half-time?
Look, we're creating opportunities, finish them, and keep trusting ourselves, keep passing the ball on the edge, and we did. Obviously got a few held ups and taken back, and it slowed the game up a little bit, but we keep trusting our process. You made a fair few changes coming into this one, 12-13. What have you learned today from the wider squad? What was most pleasing for you? We've got great competition, isn't it? We've got guys that can step up at any time, and we've got good depth in the squad. It took all of us today, took the whole squad. It's when you're on tour for a month, you're in 32 hotels over a year, it all adds up, and everyone's got to play their role, and they did tonight. You and I spoke pre-match about the questions that are being asked of this All Black side, and yet you've still only lost 3 games this year. I was talking to Wallace about it just now. I was just wondering where you guys see that you are 2 years out from a World Cup. Look, we know always I knew the first couple of years are always going to be a challenge. You're going to confront a lot of new development, grow. We had 800 caps that left, and we've introduced a lot of young men to test footy, 20-odd caps the last 2 years, and we're learning and growing as a group. It's really exciting.
Good. Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you. Cheers, thank you.